Alright guys, so here we have two pairs of Easy Knuckles V4. They are a little different because these ones have a drop for the bump steer correction. These ones don't. This is a new pair that I got because I broke my last one. So we will see how these do. I'm thinking for the style of driving that I do, nothing really competitive, just partying it up. I think they're just gonna work fine for me. I had an issue with breaking these knuckles. This is a third pair of knuckles that I already purchased. Kinda really wasn't sure what's going on. Kinda kept blaming on the knuckle breaking with being poor design, but really I'm not sure right now, because in reality I keep also bending tie rods because I keep running 18 by 10.5 wheels in the front, and the inner wheel barrel keeps hitting my tie rods at full lock and ultimately bending that tie rod, which does put a lot of stress on this portion of the knuckle. So we're gonna put these on the car, take it out to the event in October and see how they do. I am very excited for that. I also have some smaller barrels coming for my wheels, so that's gonna give me probably, I don't know, another 1.5 inches of clearance, which is gonna be super for what I need. If I do end up still hitting the tie rod, which I don't think I will, I'm probably just gonna make some angle limiters and call it a day. But otherwise, these knuckles drive very well. From what I heard people say, they make the car feel relatively similar to like an S chassis. I've never driven an S chassis before, so I can't really compare, but they did definitely make my car drive very, very well on track, even at the height that it's at. So we're just going to talk about putting them back on the car. The car is halfway disassembled already, so it's just going to be an act of getting them reassembled, and I'll walk you guys through that process. Here's kind of the overview of my setup, and an extended arm, adjustable tension rod, but this is, you see the tie rod is bent, so hopefully we're going to prevent that. My barrels should be here, well, they should hopefully ship next week, so hopefully they're here pretty soon after that. But for right now, just gonna put the knuckles on, put all the suspension back together. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is basically install the knuckle onto the spindle. You're just gonna wanna make sure that these bolt holes are clean. If they got any rust in them, just run a tap through them, spray them with brake cleaner, and they should be good to go. But these ones are pretty clean. There's a little bit of corrosion on the dowel holes, but those are going to be fine. I'm just going to tap them in a little bit. You are going to need to buy a snap-on torque wrench if you don't have one. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You're just going to have to buy one. So we're just going to install these on. We're going to do a pair, and then after that, we're going to install them on the car. All right, so there's a left hand and a right hand side. This knuckle, or the spindle's from the left, so we're going to use this one. Just kind of pound it on a little bit. There is two different length of bolts for mounting the knuckle to the spindle, and then mounting the ball joint to the nut, or to the knuckle. So for the knuckle to the spindle, you're going to want to use the shorter bolts, and I have no clue what I did with the other one. There's only three. There's the fourth one. So we're going to use the shorter ones. Just snug them up. And then you're going to want to use your snap-on torque wrench to tighten it up to 85 foot-pounds. I'm just kidding about the snap-on torque wrench. I don't give a shit what you use. but 85 foot-pounds. Maybe it'll go. There we go. Perfect. And the left side is done. Now I'm just gonna grab the right side, do the same thing on that. All right, well, I got the other side, so now we're just gonna do the same thing to the other side. And these knuckles are gonna be assembled. This is pretty easy to do, honestly, on the car. I mean, sometimes if you're disassembling the car, and it's got a lot of like rusty suspension components and stuff, you might struggle a little bit, but I've had this thing apart a bazillion times already, so it comes off pretty easy. Well, so now we're going to install the knuckle and spindle assembly back on the car. Honestly, the setup's pretty easy. You know, you just bolt 2 bolts to the ball joint, one up top to the upper ball joint, and then the tie rod end, and everything's back together. Well, you gotta put the calipers on, but I'm not gonna put them on for now. If we go over to this side, I already got this side put together, more or less. So the knuckle is all bolted up. Obviously I can't put this on because that's bent for now. Actually, I could probably put this on, but I just have to replace the inner tie rod. But we're just gonna leave it off for now. It's a little easier to get all installed when everything is straight. Well, I got both of the spindles on the car. Everything good. I'm gonna wait to put on the brakes. Probably wait to put on tie rods as well, because I gotta figure out whether I want to keep running the same tie rod I have right now, or if I want to switch to a different one. Probably try and figure that out tonight, order some in, see how they work. There's the car. Maybe it'll be cleaned up after the last event someday. I really want to drive this thing, honestly. I haven't gotten to drive it this summer at all. It's just been plowing to get it done for the July event, and then we went to the July event, drove it, broke some shit, and then now it's back to being on jack stands. But I guess a lot of it being too, it drives well. I don't know, I just want to take it out. So hopefully before the October event, I can get it all put back together, get all my wheels on. I gotta do some work on the back bumper and the back quarter panel a little bit. That doesn't affect us running and driving. So hopefully we'll take it in some cruises, do some POV. We'll see how that works.